Hello, everyone, and welcome to eBay Power Selling 101 with Michael DeWitt and Tom Parrott. I
Howdy.
am the titular Michael DeWitt, and as you heard just a moment ago, the voice of my overqualified assistant and titular Tom Parrott.
Subtitular. It's me. It's Tom Parrott. Hello, Michael. It's good to be here with you as always.
Well, I'm so excited that you're here with me because you are part of this show. And first things first, I do like to call this seminar a show because it allows me to get in a performer's mindset. As lead instructor here at the San Antonio Learning Annex of this eBay Power Selling course, it's very important for me to convey this information in a way that I like to call, and this is a thing I've coined, edutainment.
Edutainment.
I've come up with this term. It is a combination of two words.
Rolls off the tongue.
The first word is education. The second word is infotainment.
Well, it isn't infotainment a portmanteau.
Excuse me? Come again?
A combination of two words, a portmanteau? It's a
I believe
combination
you
of
may be misspeaking right now. I feel like the words you are saying don't add up into a thing that makes...
Well, that's exactly what a portmanteau is. It's two words that add up into making a word that makes sense. So like information and entertainment get you in infotainment.
I may be saying the same thing as you are. What I'm doing is I'm combining two theories. One is education, and the other is like if you were watching a show like the Stephen Colbert Late Night Show, which is an infotainment program. I'm combining those two.
That's what we're supposed to call that. Okay.
Yes. You're receiving information, and I'm also educating you at the same time.
He's an infotainer.
That is correct.
I've been wondering what to call that man, and I couldn't because it just couldn't pin it down. An infotainer sounds about right. You know what? You really are one step ahead of the game, Michael. I thought I was over here just a step ahead of you for once, but it turns out you were 6 steps ahead of me the whole time.
Well, assuredly, I take no pride in consistently being ahead of you. It's just the way the cards we've been dealt have. It's the way the world works. Speaking of the way the world works, this, as I said, this is a seminar. It's all about selling, all about power selling on eBay.
Yes.
But speaking of the way the world works, the San Antonio Learning Annex has asked us to collect some information from you who are watching and listening, the viewers, to help them better program their courses, especially in this new online world where it's all online. They want to make sure they're providing you with the most edutainment programming possible.
Exactly.
So we're going to take a moment here in the beginning. This is just some business work here. We're going to ask you watching in the chat to answer a quick survey. And we want you to answer honestly and openly by typing into the chat so that we can collect this information. I will pass it on to Linda Carmel-Hughes, Programming Director here at the San Antonio Learning Annex. Let me go ahead and...
Now, I know sometimes people get weird about like terms and conditions or legalities. Trust us, we've talked it out with Linda Carmel-Hughes. Just by watching this feed, you are legally bound and protected by any answers that you may have. So don't worry, there will be no backlash.
100%.
No Learning Annex lawyers are going to come pounding at your door in the middle of the night like a bookie hoping that you make good on your parlay bet.
That is correct. By watching this, you are agreeing this is 100% anonymous. So therefore it is. So now we're going to ask you these questions. Like as I said, go ahead and just type your answers here. The first question is this your first San Antonio Learning Annex online seminar? Now please take a moment and type in yes or no. If it is your first online seminar here with the San Antonio Learning Annex, type in yes. If it is not your first, type in no.
Have you taken any online classes here at the Learning Annex?
Not at the Learning Annex, although not to get myself in trouble, but I've taken several master classes.
Oh, like the ones with like Aaron Sorkin and
correct.
Coco Chanel. Does she have one
I believe she does. I believe she's a
in
perfumiere.
perfumery? Yes,
Perfumiere.
perfumieri.
Yeah. So we have some answers here. We got some new people and we've got some old people. Orchid Fern 25 says nope. Welcome back, Orchid Fern 25. Grendelson says no. Welcome back again to the wonderful world of the online San Antonio Learning Annex, Grendelson. And Grendelson also recommends the online improv classes at the Pack Theater, which
I've heard they're great.
I've heard nothing but great things. They provide some of the infrastructure we use to get this seminar out beyond San Antonio.
I haven't taken any classes online at the PAC, but I have taken one of the Learning Annex offerings, which was an ethical discourse on crust versus crustless breads.
Did you find yourself with any more of an elucidated moral compass at the end of the class?
It raised more questions than answers. Crust is a real ethical minefield.
Yeah, I feel like it's an ongoing conversation. It's a discussion rather than a finite endpoint. It makes sense.
Which is why you got to sign up to take level 2, where you really dive deeper and you cut beneath the crust. All right, survey question number 2 here. Which of the following categories do you most identify with? Adult education, hobbyist, professional learner, or all beef hot dog?
Come again?
Adult education, hobbyist, professional learner, or all beef hot dog. Hot dog, excuse me. I wouldn't want to misspeak. Hot dog.
That seems like it must be some kind of mistake. Perhaps. If you do feel like you identify most with that, feel free to type that in the chat. But that could be a clerical error of sorts.
Yeah, it could be. So, I mean, grocery lists. I put my grocery list down on things sometimes. I try and eat a lot of all beef hot dogs. They're better for you. You got less preservatives.
Personally, I won't eat a hot dog unless whoever is preparing it at the family barbecue assures me that it is an all beef hot dog.
It looks like almost everybody is saying that they're all beef hot dogs.
We're just collecting this information. We're not trying to guide anyone, and then they've obviously chosen hot dog as the inordinate winner of this question. Moving on, as I don't want to take up too much of the audience's time. Question 3. Which of the following concerns did you have prior to your first San Antonio Learning Annex online seminar? Worried that internet connection would drop. Worried that online class would not be worth the cost. Worried that the audio for the online course would be accidentally replaced by Third Eye Rewind, the Third Eye Blind XM radio station, playing nothing but the multi-platinum selling band's biggest hits, deepest cuts, and tenderest love songs from the 1990s to today.
Well, this seems like they just pulled something out of a complaint box.
Well, Tom, I shielded you from this. Our first 3 or 4 seminars did have the audio replaced by Third Eye Rewind, the Third Eye Blind XM radio station, playing nothing but the multi-platinum selling band's biggest hits.
Are you shitting me right now?
Like I said, we got a lot of harsh critiques, and as my, at the time, non-overqualified teacher's assistant, I shielded you from it. So for most of those first 3, your lips were moving, but the lyrics to Semi-Charmed Life, Deep Inside of You, Never Let You Go were being played instead of what you were saying.
Michael, first of all, I apologize that the listeners had to hear those 3 songs on repeat for an hour 3 times over. I don't even know how that could have happened. I don't have a Sirius XM subscription anymore. That lapsed.
This is what I was afraid of. You instantly taking on the blame for this, because I know that's your quality, is you like to feel personally responsible whenever something goes wrong. But this was
I'm the teacher's assistant. It should have been. It is my responsibility.
This was through the broadcast. We were previously teamed up with Stitcher Premium, and they had us mixed up on their end, so the audio was replaced. However, we still have an account on Stitcher Premium. If you want the first 300 episodes of the seminar, they're
Okay.
behind a paywall on Stitcher
All right.
Premium.
Man, I guess that's a real big goof. I can see why we switched. You know,
So
it's not my fault. It's not your fault. You know, it's not I nor thy, and that makes the third eye blind. So who knows?
but it is a concern that has allayed a lot of the interest in the online program. A lot of people have reported this as a reason they haven't signed up. So I think this is the annex wanting to see if that is still a concern here 6 months later. So if that is, go ahead and type it in to the chat.
I've got another question.
Sure.
This is real short. It looks like we've only got about 5 questions on this survey. On a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being very unlikely and 10 being very likely, how likely are you to recommend the San Antonio Learning Annex's online courses to a friend, family member, or enemy?
Interesting.
I guess maybe a different one for each. I don't know why you'd recommend these classes. I'm stumped. I'm plumb stumped.
We've received these questions as part of this survey. We're just here to collect the answers from you in the chat. So however you want to interpret this, go ahead and answer. And we will document these anonymously, of course. WizWorld Live says, I'd recommend to enemies to make them better people.
You know what? That's a good. I'll mark you down as a 10 for that.
Grendelson says 42, which is, I believe, Jackie Robinson's number.
It's also the answer to Life, the Universe, and Everything.
What is this reference, my dear boy?
It's a reference to Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Phooey.
You don't believe in space books?
I saw the movie when I was younger, and I don't think it lived up to the hype that the whole entire,
the movie with Alan Rickman and Martin Freeman.
It was confusing and not entertainment. It was not edutainment.
It certainly was not edutainment. It wasn't even infotainment.
It failed in both quadrants. It failed.
Pure entertainment.
So,
do you want to read this last question?
Yeah, so I'll read the last one, and this is probably the easiest one because they probably want to end on just a quick, brief note, but pretty easy to answer. Can we know what happiness is without sadness? Grendelson says that Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy is supposed to be confusing to watch the TV show or read the book. I started with the movie, and I will never return to the franchise again. All right, so the question we're on now, can we know what happiness is without sadness? Daniel Emmons says, yes, we can. Orchard Fern 25 says, yeah.
And Grandelson says no.
Orchid Fern, yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say, Orchid Fern says happiness equals hot dogs.
Well, it doesn't explicitly say that you cannot combine answers, so that's perfectly valid.
Here's a question. On a scale of 1 to 10, how happy would you be to feed hot dogs to your enemies? Scale of 1 being very unhappy and 10 being very happy. You give them Orchid Fern 25 says that they give them hot dog water, which I'm going to pick that right now. That's the best answer in the class.
That gets the best answer award.
Congratulations, you get the best answer.
Congratulations, nice Orchid Fern 25. I forgot to specify up front that we are issuing prestigious awards to qualifying answers. Yes. So far, that's the only one that's reached the threshold to win an award.
And that's a real shame because that's all the questions that we have on the survey for today. So maybe we'll have another survey, another class. We'll see what Linda Carmel Hughes says about these set of responses. So thank you all for participating.
Yeah, thank you, everyone. This is helping us to streamline and modify our program so that the online learning experience is as edutainful as possible, and you get your money's worth, although they are all free thanks to a gracious grant from this Carter Silk family. now, with all that said, we've got so much business out of the way there that I think we need to dive immediately in to our workshop portion of the seminar, where we have
Let's
students.
dive.
We're going to have students join us here. They've been hand selected by Tom via email to come up on the screen and present us with their eBay items for our appraisal. And you will learn vicariously through this process, which you will see in a moment as we begin.
Yes, let's go ahead and dive right in. Our first guest joining us today is Hoops with a Z. Or, sorry, wait, Hoops with an S. I'm so sorry, I misread your name.
I get it, and it's confusing because my parents named me Hoops with an S, but they actually spelled Hoops with a Z, but the Z is pronounced traditionally with an S. So I get why you said it, but I also appreciate going forward that you say the whole thing correctly.
Hoops with an S. I do deeply apologize. I won't have any problems with that. Michael.
All is life.
Michael, the floor is yours.
First off, thank you for your patience and understanding with that mistake. I imagine this must be an incredible burden that you've undertaken here, having to clarify this so frequently. So we do appreciate.
It's an everyday thing. I go my whole life. I tell people, oh, nice to meet you. Oh, your name is Jason. My name is Hoops with an S. And then they go, you're real cool. Like, you sure that Hoops not with a Z? And I'm like, here we go. Then I have to spend the next hour and a half explaining myself.
There's just so much social etiquette that I feel like we don't have these days. Just recently, a fellow instructor at the Learning Annex let me know that a loved one of theirs passed away. And I said, I'm sorry for your loss. And they didn't say thank you.
Did you say that was Lauren Annex who told you that?
It was Lauren Annex, yes.
Lauren Annex?
Yeah, she teaches a class here at the Learning Annex.
It's a class on familial, social norms.
So her last name is Annex, and she teaches at the Annex.
Right, but it's spelled Annick's.
That's
we
right.
should be friends, I feel like. You know, because I'm Hoops with an S, but with a Z. But it sounds like an S.
I would be very happy to introduce you to. I feel like you could rub off well on her and let her know. You don't have to say it was me, but say you overheard a story where
I'm an honest person.
She didn't say thank you.
But at this point, I'm going to have to.
It's just, you might want to suggest her brush up on her social etiquette skills. That's neither here nor there. Thank you so much for joining us. I notice you are in an empty basketball arena.
Yeah, ball is life. I quit my job and I decided to move into a basketball arena full time. So this is me.
You
living on a basketball court.
Are you doing any sort of like caretaking or curating?
They don't even know I'm here. Turns out, even though basketball's not being played in the facilities, the internet's still on. So I'm out here just living my life. It's pretty good. I got all the popcorn I want.
My gosh.
Hot dogs, all kind of treats. I can watch Netflix on the Jumbotron. I was watching The Boys on the Jumbotron.
So how is season
phenomenal. 2? Season 2 is phenomenal.
Really?
I really dig season 2. It's real good.
I liked parts of season 1, but I wasn't quite sure if they were going to ramp it up or if it was just going to be what I would find uneven again for season 2.
It's like, have you ever seen Crank 2?
I've only seen Crank 1.
Watch Crank 2 and then you'll appreciate The Boys.
Okay, well,
season 2.
Well, I will do that. I don't have access.
Going up.
It just it heightens beyond what would seem possible to heighten.
Just as soon as you're like, oh, it's not gonna get any weirder or worse than this, it does.
It's true.
Life.
There are moments where I watched The Boys 2, these first 3 episodes, and I thought they're not going to do that, and then they did that, and by golly, I'm impressed.
It's pretty great.
Well, it's good to know that you are in this vacant basketball stadium foraging for your food and edutainment. But I do have to ask, your purpose for being here this evening, you would like our help with selling an item?
Yeah, I got Got this Michael Jordan figure. You can see it.
Is that
I got this
Yeah.
authentic, life-size Michael Jordan figurine that I'm selling for. I'm gonna say $300,
So that's life size.
life size.
So you must be gigantic.
No, regular size. I'm like 5'7", but this is a life size Michael Jordan figurine.
Is that okay? I saw The Last Dance on Netflix, but they only start showing footage of him after he is mostly adult.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming at some point in his life he was that size, and that is what he looked like.
I mean, he's 6'6", and I think he was. I don't know when he stopped or started growing,
Right.
but he's 6'6" in this stature. It's scale.
I mean, for all we know, he could still be growing right now.
You know what? I'm not the one that told you this, but he's still growing. Michael Jordan, he doesn't make public appearances because he's 8 feet tall now.
Oh wow! So he's like that. He's like that Robert Wadlow fella.
Yep.
You know, I saw a photo of him of Shaq standing next to a Robert Wadlow wax statue, and Robert Wadlow is like almost 10 feet tall. I can only imagine Michael Jordan's going to probably grow to that size within the next couple of years if he's still growing at that rate.
Michael Jordan is gonna get there. Michael Jordan is gonna be the first person to live to 400 years old. That's a fact.
Now that you're bringing this up, it's jogging my memory for some of the bonus footage I saw on the Last Dance. There was a scene they showed where Isaiah Thomas told Jordan that he would never keep growing forever.
Here's the fucked up part. Isaiah Thomas is shrinking at the same rate that Michael Jordan is growing.
So
Eventually, Isaiah Thomas is going to disappear.
This is
all
fascinating.
because MJ didn't want Isaiah Thomas in the Olympics.
Wow.
because he knew obviously they kept it away from the fans, but at the time he knew he would eventually shrink into nothing.
Yeah,
Oh my God.
yeah. They call him the best small basketball. I mean, he's big for a human being, but he's small for a basketball player. And eventually, he's going to be small for a human, and then he's just going to be like freakishly small, and then he's going to not exist.
My gosh, that is a frightening. We all are on our way to the eternal nothing, but just the knowledge that you would shrink into nothingness, I feel like adds another layer of dread.
Don't
the whole
piss
effect.
off Michael Jordan.
Now-
When I was a kid, that was the first thing that my parents taught me. Don't piss off Michael Jordan. And I've taken that. I've told my children that. My children's children, you do not piss off Michael Jordan.
You've had
You will be
opportunities.
X'd.
You've had opportunities to test this life motto.
I have. I've seen it in practice. You know, Michael Jordan's not doing it directly. But I will say this. You didn't hear this from me, okay? But between you and me, Michael Jordan gets his powers from witches.
My gosh.
Huh. I
Yeah.
always thought it was just his secret stuff.
Mm-mm.
So that's a witch concoction.
You know how every few years there's a new, he's the next Jordan.
Yes.
Yeah.
Remember Harold Miner? Won the slam dunk contest in
Yeah.
95.
Yeah, I do remember Harold Miner.
They turned him into dog food. Fed him to Charles Barkley.
Wow.
They used magic to turn him into an appropriate thing for a dog to eat.
And then fed it to Charles Barkley.
Is that what happens to all the great basketball players? I don't know why I just put quotes around that. All the great basketball players in history. They say they're going to be the next Jordan, and then they get turned into dog food or
the
power
great
sat by the
ones,
witches.
they're fine. If you can be Hall of Fame or borderline Hall of Fame, you're fine. But if you're just good for your era, you know, your Vin Bakers, your Derek Colemans, you know what I mean? Your Latrell Sprewells.
Okay.
These guys aren't going to be remembered years from now.
Your
So they
Darko
get turned into dog
Milicics.
food. Your Darkos. Oh, Darko, he got turned into dog food almost immediately.
Hoops with
I
an
believe
S.
that.
Please tell me, please assure me that Michael Olowokandi is 100% fine.
Michael Olowokandi is an actual poster. They posterized him.
They turned him into a poster.
They literally turned. He is physically living his life out as the poster in Michael Jordan's basement.
As a trophy, he kept Olowokandi as a cruel trophy in his basement.
Yep, and the front side with color is up against the wall. So he's living the rest of his life out staring at the wall. Nobody can see him.
So this is not like a high-end theatrical movie poster where it's double-sided with the reverse image. This is pure white on the back. There's just nothing on the paper.
Yep.
So it's almost like a fat head.
Yeah, I mean, no, yeah, like a reverse fat head. But imagine
Right, yeah.
fat head that was just the outline.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Just the outline. It's
Yeah,
like
yeah, it's like a
skinny head.
Yeah,
All right.
Can I add a third possible or another equivalent that it
Sure.
could be like?
You can.
What if it's like is it like a sticker?
I mean, it's almost exactly like a sticker.
Okay. Oh, so now
Except
okay.
a sticker is something that you derive joy from. This Michael Jordan's basement that he uses for bullshit, inadequate, forgotten 90s NBA players, it's a sad place.
Damn.
And-
Well,
Go ahead, Tom.
I was just gonna say we're running out of time, but I do have actually a very good answer for what you might be able to sell your life-size figure there for.
My life-size Michael Jordan figure.
Yes,
What do you
yes,
get
sir.
for it?
But Michael, if you had something you wanted to close out with before I offer up this, actually, I rarely say this 100% accurate price, but Michael, go right ahead.
Only thing I could say to provide any context is I've never seen the film Star Wars or any images from it. Go ahead, Tom.
It is.
I was just gonna say, so I did find a Michael Jordan figure here on eBay that is a 1/9 scale, and it's $46.99. So by simple extrapolation, if you're selling something that's life size, it bare minimum ought to be 9 times that. So at the very least, you should be asking for $422.91 for your life size Michael Jordan figure.
You know what? That's why I come for to get the professional opinions. Thank you. I really appreciate that.
Very welcome. Hoops with an S. It's been our honor to shop it up with you this evening.
It's been an honor to be here. Thank you two gentlemen.
Yeah, enjoy rummaging through whatever you have access to there in the stadium. Well, I hope he's going to be okay. I imagine at some point the season will resume in their normal stadiums. I hope he's able to find accommodations.
Well, that's probably going to be a long while from now. And I mean, if he needs any tips, I've been living this in abandoned Whataburger for long enough that I really am not 100% sure what's going on. If anyone's ever going to come back here, but I got plenty of tips on anyone who needs to know what it's like to live somewhere that's abandoned. You can really salvage a lot out of here.
Yeah, go ahead and send Tom a tweet or an Instagram message. But I'm glad that our first guest was in an abandoned NBA stadium, because that actually draws attention to tonight's highlighted organizations. Here in the right-hand corner, you'll see 2 URLs. MoreThanAVote.org is actually a new organization created by black athletes and artists, one of them being LeBron James, who is one of the handful of people who have been deemed as the next Michael Jordan. And they've created this organization to help people come up with action plans to help fight black voter suppression. And one of those action plans is to donate to our second URL, which is wegotthevote.org, which is a Florida organization that helps returning citizens pay their legal fees so they can have their right to vote reinstated.
Both of those sound great.
Yeah.
I'm glad that LeBron James never got turned into dog food. Otherwise, he wouldn't be able to come up with such a wonderful cause such as this.
I feel like his purpose is more realized in this way than in what the previous scenario you've described. But please do check out both those URLs. They're on the screen. Make a note. Go check them out later if you'd like. They've just been posted in the chat by WizWorld Live. Thank you very much.
Thank you, WizWorld Live.
You know, I don't consider myself to be the most on top of everything that's going on politically or news-wise. So I am a case study and someone who does appreciate when these resources come out that give you these clear action plans to get you started to, make a difference and make a change that I consider to be worthwhile. So go take a look at those.
And speaking of taking a look at things, I think it's time for us to take a look at our next student coming into the seminar to have their wares appraised, as it were. Please welcome Frances Forseer.
Hello, everybody.
Good evening, Frances.
Good evening.
Just a heads up, I prefer Frances or the #1 Stevie Nicks fan, either or.
Oh my gosh. So, okay, if I have both options, I'm going to go with the #1 Stevie Nicks fan because that sounds delightful.
Thank you.
That's #1 Stevie Nicks fan with an S?
With an S. Or actually, no, let's go with the Z.
So, Frances, I must ask you, this enchanting room you're in, describe what we're seeing here.
You're seeing a room where I usually do my tarot readings, rituals, and sometimes I do turn people into dog food. I overheard you guys talking about that earlier, and I was like, oh no, oh my god, wait, they're on to me. That sums up my room. A lot of crying, a lot of screaming.
So you're a witch.
Some could, yeah.
I say that that's just a technical term from what I understand now.
Yeah, I don't usually go by witch. I usually go by #1 Stevie Nicks fan.
#1 Stevie Nicks fan. Okay.
It's like an umbrella term under witch.
All right. Okay. You know what? That makes a lot of sense. I've never understood why there was such a correlation between Stevie Nicks and witchcraft, and now I understand. Stevie Nicks fans, it's just you got a proclivity towards it.
Oh no, yeah, she's our leader. That's how I perceive it.
So did she teach you personally?
Yes and no.
Fascinating.
Oh.
So she did, but you can also say
only
she did.
A little bit.
She mentally did, not physically, if that makes sense.
Is this okay? I've read about this before. This concept of being able to transcend your physical space and go somewhere else, either telepathically or astral projectively.
Ooh, you know a lot about this stuff.
Michael, do you ever astral project?
Yes and no. Yes, I have, but no.
And how was it when you did?
Well, here's the reason why I add the no, is because I astral projected into the kitchen serving area on an episode of Hell's Kitchen.
Into the Wait, to like the expo area?
No, you know the VIP table that is in the kitchen on Gordon Ramsay's Hell's Kitchen, where Snooki will sit, or maybe a cast member from Glee.
Yeah, Pauly Shore sat there one time.
Exactly. I was in that booth being served the food, and I had beef Wellington. I'm not a big fan of scallops, so I didn't have any scallops. I overheard Gordon Ramsay yank a woman's top and say, "Repeat what I just told you." And then she was so nervous she couldn't repeat it. And at that moment, I returned to where I was with this memory, but I had no taste sense of what I had eaten. I almost thought it was just completely a dream that didn't occur until later that evening, I went back to my couch where I had astral projected, and there was a single scallop.
Just chilling.
Just relaxing there on my couch.
You should charge it rent.
Should
Is it
I
still
may
there?
consider this? It is still here. Not here
Do
in the
you want
learning
me
annex.
do you want me to hex all scallops?
Does that involve me collecting a rental fee from each scallop, or?
Yes and no. I mean, you can. I'll do all the work.
Right.
If you want to, you can.
Well, I feel like I'm providing a service as well because I do have this couch, and the scallop was on it, so I do consider myself a contributor to society in that way, and I do deserve some money in return as the landlord. But
Touche.
I do appreciate you offering that sort of business proposition, but I would.
Always. It's
I-
always on the table.
Francis, you do seem like a power seller already, so I'm curious as to see what you may have for us that you need our expertise on.
Okay, so today I want to sell one of the first tarot decks I have, but disclaimer, it is kind of cursed. So whoever buys this, I'm already giving you a heads up. So
Oh,
whatever happens to you, happens to you.
we love a cursed item here. Oh
Yes,
my goodness.
I just don't know how much I should sell it for. Like, should I just, I don't know, half off it?
All right, so I think the best thing to help us figure out for sales is if you told us what sort of ways the curse on these cards manifests itself.
Well, from personal experiences, one of the curses includes like smelling like onions and just smelling raw. Overall, it makes you smell really bad, gives you mood swings, makes your palate taste weird.
Your
Makes
pellet?
people, yes, it makes people throw things at you.
Wait,
These
what
are
is?
just things. Palate,
Sorry.
as in like your taste buds are no longer taste buds.
I see. Okay, I gotcha. I thought you meant like an owl pellet, like something you barfed up after you eat a mouse.
I thought you meant a hollow box that you place merchandise on so that it'll avoid water damage if there were to be a light flood. But that is neither here nor there. This first deck of cards you have here, and I'm sorry if that trivializes the importance of the tarot cards by calling it a deck
Not
of
at all.
cards.
No, not at all.
Okay.
She loves that, by the way.
She.
Yeah, I decided, well, I can speak to my cards as an experienced tarot reader. If you want, I can quickly do a reading for you right now. You
know
just have
what?
to pick a card.
We do have time for one reading, I think, before
Yes.
we have to. I mean, I would say do your own. I'll say this: a cursed item. If you put "cursed" in the name of a tarot card deck, you'll be able to sell that for at least $100, no problem. So I'll just tell you that right out the gate. I would love to get a tarot reading.
So do you think, wait, that is true. Do you think I shouldn't include the word cursed so people can buy it and it's kind of like a surprise? It's like a surprise deck.
Yes and
if
no.
Yes, if you sell,
You
you
said.
could sell it without that. But if you did, I wouldn't recommend it.
Now this has never happened before. We've never had a live tarot reading, so this is Learning Annex and eBay Power Selling 101 history. So if you are in the chat, and if you're in the other room making yourself an all-beef hot dog, please rush back to your computer now and watch this. This will be good.
Okay.
So it's not going to be like a traditional reading. And just a heads up, I do have really bad Yelp reviews on my readings, so don't expect too much.
That's
So
fine.
unlike traditional readings, I'm just going to ask you to like pick. Actually, let's do these three cards. Out of these three cards, you can just pick one. it's over Zoom, so it's kind of hard for you to like do the actual reading. So you can just pick a card.
Michael, I feel like you're the power seller here. You're the titular Michael DeWitt, so this is your reading, my friend.
All right, I'm going to take lead here, and I'm going to choose the middle card.
Okay. Well, the middle card is Judgment. And what I'm getting from this photo is dirt. So one, you probably haven't showered in a few months, or two, somebody's telling you to shower. But then there's also like the bright side of the card, meaning like you probably consume copious amounts of dirt. That's what I'm getting from the Judgment. And
Interesting.
which is why people are judging you.
I do consume copious amounts of dirt, not by itself, but I'm a
not.
big proponent in raw fruits and vegetables. I eat a lot of raw onions, shelled or peeled, and they frequently caked in mud or dirt.
And they are root vegetables.
You know, instead of like selling the cards online, I feel like you should just buy them off of me. Is
someone?
I feel like they would suit you pretty well.
Would I be able to read my own future or my own personality traits, or would I be doing this? Would I be okay? Oh, great! So,
Michael, listen, I will say, Francis, I can put you in touch with Michael. I don't want Michael. Michael's had a bad history of giving out his personal information here on
that is true.
On Power Selling before, so I will be in touch. But Michael, if you're interested, I'm happy to be the middleman.
You know, I've never bought an item from someone. I did almost buy that drug once. What's it?
Yeah, the one from the
Microchloroquine or whatever. I almost bought that. I didn't.
Hydroxychloroquine.
I almost bought that from one of our previous students. But I will buy this deck from you. And as Thomas correctly pointed out, I cannot be trusted with my own personal information. So please connect with him.
I'll be in touch. Francis, we do have to say goodbye, but I'll follow up with an email, and we'll discuss a price there.
Yes, I appreciate you guys. Thank you for having me, and thank you for letting me do your readings.
Thank you so
Haven't done
much.
one in a while.
Thank you.
Bye,
Francis.
everybody.
Bye-bye.
Take care, Francis.
Number one Stevie Nicks fan.
Gosh, Stevie Nicks, the queen of all witches.
The number one onion smelling man. That's what we should call your nickname.
Would you say I smell like onions?
I mean, I have no idea, because I am a whole set of buildings away from you, and I haven't come to see you in person. If it's anything the way you smelled before the COVID-19 hit, you'd smelled like onions then.
That stands to reason, as I do eat onions from the earth.
Raw, unshelled onions.
Yes, yeah. I saw the movie Lethal Weapon with Mel Gibson and Danny Glover, and he eats an onion in it. So,
I saw that movie Holes, and they eat onions in that.
Really? You know,
it was very good.
I astral projected into an episode of Chef's Kitchen on Netflix, and I helped myself to some onions. I didn't enjoy them as much because it looked like they had been power washed.
You gotta eat a dirty onion.
I prefer them to be dirty.
That's why Shrek was so great. He was just a dirty onion at the end of the day. You know what? I feel bad. I feel like saying dirty onion is a slur to ogres, and I feel bad, and I hope Shrek, if you're watching,
yes,
I apologize. I don't know if that is a slur, but it sounds like one coming out of my mouth, and I don't like that. So I do apologize for calling you a dirty O word.
When in doubt, apologize.
That's what I own up to that right away. Michael, can we move on from this brief awkwardness with my potential speciesism?
Yeah, I have my email open in case anyone wants to complain about that comment you just made.
Well, they're gonna it's gonna come to me first, so I could just, I'll forward it on to you, but I could just delete it. You know that, right?
I do know this. Yeah, let's proceed with our next student. I know we're having an extended episode of today, but
Us, an
We're all
extended
here.
episode?
We're all here. We're having
way.
fun. Okay, we had a tarot reading live. We spoke
was
to a
pretty
man who
great.
lives in an abandoned NBA stadium. What more do people want?
We have our next student is coming in right now, and their name is Laura Quilling.
Hi.
Good evening,
Hi
Laura.
there, Laura.
Hi. My name is Laura. I'm a ninth grader at St. Mary Immaculate High School in Plano, Texas. It's really nice to be here.
Oh wow! Thank you so much for joining us. May I ask you, how did you hear about our seminar?
My dad sells first bought and then resold Legos on eBay.
Oh, all right.
And so he's doing that to pay for my college tuition and also make up for the high school tuition that he lost gambling in Las Vegas
Oh my gosh!
when I was in the 6th grade. So I kind of learned from the best. I kind of learned from him. And also, a couple of my friends have been selling things on eBay, and they encouraged me to try it myself. So I'm here to try it for the first time.
All right.
That's great to know. eBay,
Enterprising young lady, very cool.
yeah, it's never too early to begin selling. So I'm glad you have the initiative and the gumption to come on this program and speak with us. What item would we be able to assist you with today?
So in English class in the 8th grade, my friends Daniel Howard and Kathleen Sabine said that they sold their souls on eBay, and they got $100 each for selling their souls on eBay. So I wanted they dared me to do it, and so I wanted to see for the highest bidder what I could get for my soul on eBay as a good Catholic girl. So I haven't filled it yet, but I have this bag, and I don't know if you can see it, but it says Laura's Hair and Blood.
Oh my goodness.
Huh.
So, as
So,
we know, souls are eternal. You may be a ninth grader, but souls do have an eternal age. They're not
Yeah.
limited by that. So I want to make sure that you don't go into this thinking that you have to undercharge because of your
No.
age. I just want to get that clear out front.
And
Second,
also, I really like my hair and my blood.
Mhm.
So my mom always says to know my worth. So I just want to make sure that I'm getting the most for what I'm giving. So I don't know if you can tell, but I have really nice hair.
yeah, it's
I do.
beautiful.
I don't know
I
if you
see
can
that.
tell, but I also have really nice blood.
Well, do you know what type of blood you have?
I have O type blood. So
Positive,
as you can
negative?
imagine, it's pretty valuable.
Wow,
O is a universal donor. Is that correct?
Universal donor, yeah.
that's very impressive to have.
Just
that.
like Jesus was the universal donor for our salvation.
That's true. Jesus was the way, the truth, and the light,
hmm
and he died on a red cross.
hmm
I'm trying to find, because I do have some experience in the soul buying and selling market on eBay, but it was shut down a little while ago. So I'm trying to find the code words that are in use now. I got out of the game, but let me do some research. Michael, feel free to talk to Laura here while I try and figure out what the code words are.
Sure.
These days.
So I'd love to learn more about you, Lauren. Do you participate in any athletics or extracurricular activities at your high school?
Yeah. So I just recently auditioned for my school's drill team. I won't be able to get on the varsity squad yet, but I did get on the junior varsity squad. I'm in the back line, but I like to think that that's where you kind of grow up and grow out. And Kathleen Sabine says that if I sell my blood for enough, I can pay half of that money kind of as a deposit to get about halfway up the dance line. And then when I make the rest, I can move up to the front of the line, and then I'll be eligible for varsity.
Oh, fantastic. So you have a plan to get yourself at the very front of the drill line. And for people who may not know, drill is dancing, and some people hold sticks and have ribbons.
It's kind of like cheerleaders, but you're a little more ugly.
Okay. And just to clarify, souls have no physical aesthetic to them. So
Yeah, it's like amiibos for Nintendo. Where like for my hair and my blood, it's kind of a physical representation of what's ultimately like a digital / spiritual medium.
Right, of course. So anyone listening, this applies to everyone who still has their soul. Do not think because God placed you in an unattractive mortal coil that you should be undercharging for your soul. That's happens so frequently with people is they start from a place where they're taking away their own value instead of knowing their own value. So we just remind people.
Yeah.
All right. So I found my research. Now, what I will say this is that there's eBay officially has taken a stance that prohibits the selling of souls, which is why you must use code words if you're going to sell a soul. It appears, yes, the hair and the blood. So it appears that the going thing for blood is you would have to sell them separately, which may maximize your sales potential. You'd sell the hair and the blood as individual items, and you would have to sell the blood as a sample for looking at under a microscope. So you'd have to package it in a series of slides. That way that it is prepared. It's a prepared blood slide, and then you just pair it with the hair. You could say it's a wig. You could say it's a hair plug. That's how you're going to be able to get around their egregious anti-soul policy, which does harm numerous independent businessmen and women all over the world.
Yeah, I've actually already planned ahead for that because my stepmom Karen, she is a vacuum sealer and a sous vide. So I was just gonna vacuum seal my blood, and the hair can go in this because it's kind of a sealable container. But I was gonna vacuum seal the blood and then sous vide it to a proper temperature of storage and stick it in the freezer.
You know what? I actually think that might put you a little bit ahead of the game because all of the blood samples I'm seeing here are something that you might see inside of a lab under a microscope. What you'd be offering is something a little much more robust and medically sound, might I add, which will make sure that it's within eBay's guidelines. How much blood are you willing to give up?
Well, actually, we just finished reading Shakespeare in my 8th grade English class before I got to the 9th grade, and there's a part about a pound of flesh in there, and I thought to myself, if he can give a pound of flesh, I can give a pound of blood. So I'd be willing to give. I don't know what that translates to in liquid volume, but whatever a pound of flesh is, I will give that much blood. Because I'm really into Shakespeare right now.
If you Google it, Google
Chuck Palahniuk.
Two great authors on the same level, I'd say. You can Google the conversions on Google.com, and they'll provide it'll automatically have a little field where you can type in the pounds per flesh to
15 fluid ounces.
Yes.
So that's almost like a full soda. So I would give roughly a full soda of my blood.
That's really not a lot. And I mean, you don't have to even count that much hair into the equation either that way, because I say you could definitely sell. You said your friends sold theirs for $100 each.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? They may have been able to package them differently, but I think you're in a much better advantage because you're not only older, you're wiser, but you're selling your stuff in a smarter way. So I'd say you could easily get $200 to $500 for your soul as long as you follow all the guidelines. Just make sure eBay's real tricky about that. They don't like it when people sell souls. So make sure that's not what you're selling, even though we know it's what you're selling.
Thank you guys. I really appreciate it. I'm honestly really nervous going into my freshman year and the current state of affairs.
Oh no, there. Are you
all right?
Are you okay?
Actually, I already kind of started the IV to my arm. Kind of.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I'm a little overeager. And so, yeah, I've got about I think 8 ounces probably going
Okay,
at the moment.
you're almost there, and you are young but driven. You're smart and bright. The things you can do in this world without a soul weighing you down are incalculable. So I do wish you well, and I do know that you have great things ahead of you. Have you thought about going into government or the entertainment business?
What?
It looks like you're temporarily slipping off the mortal coil into the afterlife. We thank you for being on the program, and I wish you. Tom? Can you hear me this way?
I can hear you.
Okay.
Laura, you have to just be careful. All right, you have pillows surrounding you.
I do. I think I also am gonna probably use my throw up bowl here in a second.
For the blood?
For my throw up.
All right, don't mix the throw up in the blood because that will not sell. You may even it may contaminate the ability to sell the soul effectively.
I did it in the reverse actually the other day where I got a little throw up into my veins and I had to go to the hospital and it kind of set me back on my financial goal.
Oh my gosh, yeah, that's the bill for that must have been astronomical.
I'm probably gonna have to honestly upcharge a bit on the hair.
Oh, Rhesus disease. You got your vomit in my blood.
Mikey likes it. Thank you so much for being on the program this evening. We wish you well. I don't want to have you. I know people can be a little bit rude or vain about each other's looks in high school, so I don't want to have footage here of you vomiting that your fellow students.
It.
Okay, great.
That's someone who knows how to stay popular.
Thank you.
Laura, congratulations.
Very toxic insinuation there. You do not recommend that to be implemented in a non-comedy setting.
I just ripped the IV out.
Well,
you better take care of that.
It's liquid gold all over the floor.
Yeah, well, you're a regular Jed Clampett of the Soul Division, and we thank you for being on this show. I like to thank people 19 times for being on the program. It just makes me feel better about what we do here.
It's very homey.
It is, yeah, I do believe so.
Okay, I'm gonna go call my dad who made me my grandma.
Okay, well,
go whatever you need to do, Laura.
Thank you guys so much for having me. I feel like
oh no. Oh no.
Thank you guys for having me. It was really
We better, Michael, we may need to cut her feed. We don't want
Okay,
this to turn into a TikTok later on.
Yes, I don't want this to be. I don't want the weekend to be playing underneath this on.
I love the weekend.
We were sure you do, Laura. Wow. Oof.
Wow. Well, good thing about that is she will be making a couple $100 for all her troubles.
At least. You know, we did have some people in the chat. Dom Porty is already very excited potentially about having 2 souls. Maybe Dom will buy these souls. These soul pieces.
Time will tell.
Sorry, I get a little pukey in my mouth whenever I hear people throwing up in places.
No,
that was the main reason why I didn't want her to throw up in the bowl.
It's an empathetic human response. If someone sneezes, you will sneeze. If someone vomits, you also will vomit.
Yeah. Oh, well, and someone else leaves the show, another person enters the show, and that's what we're going to do right now with our final student coming through. Michael, are you ready?
I am 100% ready. I'm resplendent. I'm doing great.
Get ready for Apple Fox. Hello, Apple. Are you there? Apple Fox? Oh, we can't.
Mr. Fox, we cannot hear you, sir.
We can't hear you.
Okay, let me try this.
There we go.
Oh, there we go. Hi, how are you guys?
I'm doing resplendently. Tom, how are you doing?
I think I did get a little puke in my mouth there, but I feel pretty good otherwise.
Oh, that sounds horrible.
Makes me wish I had my toothpicks to get the smell out of my nose and mouth, but that's neither here nor there.
What a warm welcome for you, Mr. Fox. Thank you for joining us. I'd love to learn more about you and also what we can do to help you this evening.
Well, I don't know if you've heard of me. I am Apple Fox. I run a Facebook page called Apple Fox. It's all about wellness,
Wow.
like healthy stuff, using avocados to help, clean your soul and other stuff like
Interesting.
that.
Okay, so
all right.
you're saying that there's some properties in avocado or similar foods that will actually cleanse one's soul?
Oh yes, a lot of them. You got to just apply it all over your body. You know,
Oh,
you got to mash it up and then just rub it all over your body, and it'll cleanse your soul.
yeah,
I
but
think
it's
I've seen a couple of your memes.
Oh yeah, I made a lot of those memes. Unfortunately, no longer allowed to do those anymore.
oh no.
Well, what?
May I
Why
ask
not?
which oversight committee or government agencies?
It's the FBI, the FDA, and the BBC.
Oh my gosh, BBC. They produced the wonderful program Line of Duty.
Oh yes, it's
In
a
the
marvelous
documentary
show.
Wonderful.
Hypernormalization.
That's right. So they've
Oh
they dropped the hammer
watch
on you
that.
for these memes.
Yes, apparently it is not backed by traditional science.
Well, that's
Uh,
just phooey, of
yeah,
course.
it's
They're,
horrible.
so many people hide behind that excuse. Just they want to shut people down. They want to put their foot on the throat of uh, burgeoning businesses, and they hide behind this excuse. What is it? What is this world?
Yeah, it's insane out there. I mean, the FBI just shut down my compound in Bozeman.
He had a compound.
Oh, yeah, well, I'm also a leader of a religious sect called the Avocadotarians.
Oh my gosh.
I was going to go with the Appletarians, but apparently those already exist.
Yes, they do. They're every year the church in my neighborhood has a harvest festival, and the Appletarians provide the apples for bobbing in place
I,
of
Uh,
sinful Halloween activities.
I must have spelled that wrong. I just got Apple Trans on my Google there.
uh, Apple Trends?
Apple Trans.
Oh,
Not
Here
sure
we
what that
go.
is.
I don't know what it is either. I didn't click, but I did find Appletarian, so we're good.
Yeah. So you are avocadotarians, and
yes.
you said the compound it ceases to be.
Well, I mean, the land's still there. It's just
Right.
that the FBI burnt it down, as the FBI tends to do.
People look at them as the good guys, but look out throughout history all the horrible things they've done to citizens. You know,
Yeah.
I started to question this common knowledge of them being good. I'm sorry you had to deal with that, Apple. Do you have? Are you able to stay in contact with your flock?
That is a part of the what is that? Terms of my parole. So I'm not allowed to stay in contact with my living members.
So,
Okay.
what happened to the non-living members?
Well, as religions usually do, they have rights, when you pass.
Right.
And ours were a cremation, a religion. Which brings me here tonight. I now have several hundred previously used urns that I would love to find a new home.
Well, you come to the right place.
This is exactly what we do here. We take items that no longer are useful to their owners, and we help pass them on, pun intended,
Ah.
to those who may be able to find a more valuable use for them. So thank you for bringing this on here. Can you hold that urn up to
Oh, yeah.
the screen just so we could get a closer look? Specifically, I want to see that top rim there. I want to see if there's any etchings or any ceremonial verbiage that I could tie to it, an era or a location.
Unfortunately, we're a simple religion, so we didn't ornate any or get ornate urns for our flock.
Apple, I'm gonna stop you right there and say that unfortunately is actually a fortunately.
Oh,
Yes, sir. That's
how so?
that. Well, the beauty of the urn market is that as long as you clean them out good enough, nobody's ever going to know that they were used. And the second beauty of the urn market is that urns are customizable, and people love a customized urn. I'm looking at one right here. Patriotic large urn for human ashes for veterans and patriots. $89.87. 61 of those have been sold.
So this is for this is for veterans and or patriots.
Right, and it's got an American flag on there, and that's just one of the many designs of urns that they have available here. So they have some basic ones that are more in the pewter or silver color that you have there, but you could take some time. They got some tie-dye urns here. They have ones with
Those
faux
seem in
marble on
opposition,
them.
don't they? A patriot slash veteran urn, and then a goddamn hippie urn.
They do, but you know what? Sometimes goddamn hippies die too.
That's true.
People die all the time. All right, Apple understands that probably more than either of us.
Yes.
So-
Sometimes you're just living your best life on a compound in rural Montana, and next thing you know, hundreds dead, thanks to the FBI.
Can I
Right,
ask
I
you?
mean-
I have a question, Apple.
Dang old
Yes.
FBI.
In the cult world, do people look down on leaders who exploit their power for personal sexual gain, or is that considered kosher and fine?
Well, first of all, not a cult, even
Right.
though
It is a
technically,
religion.
according to the FBI, the FDA, and BBC, we are technically a cult.
My apologies.
But that's just mainstream media. But I mean, it depends on the religion. I personally did not take advantage of my flock.
Mhm.
I'm not one of those people,
Okay.
but it's not frowned upon.
Oh,
Right. Okay,
I
can
guess
see
that's
that.
why it's so rampant. Now, Apple, you said you had hundreds died?
Hundreds, yes.
Okay. So you have hundreds of urns.
Yes.
Okay. Now, I will say you do sound like somebody who's experienced a lot of obstacles, a lot of stumbling points, places that where tides did not go your way, and the tide has turned, my friend, because you are about to take the souls and the lives of your flock there, the deceased members, and you're be able to turn that into perhaps enough money to rebuild your compound in a state or a country where it is a bit more legal, and you're not under watch by people from various government agencies, including a government agency that's not even in the United States. That's crazy that they've been paying such attention to you.
Do you think? Yeah, you'd think they'd be more concerned with the upcoming season of Line of Duty than arbitrarily employing these shutdown tactics on a young businessman who not only is a businessman, but you're a man of faith. You believe in what you do.
This is why I came to you guys. You understand.
Now, I'll say this. I mean, you don't even have to make this something that, as has been turned by Wizworld Live, a MAGA urn. All right? You can do an urn where you're just painting a bird on the outside of it. That sells for $149.
Oh.
You could
Yeah.
put Bart Simpson on there.
You could have one. I see one right here that is motorcycle urn. It has
That
a
one
picture
actually is
of-
topical. I'm hearing in the news.
It really is. Yeah, Sturgis, super spreaders. But
Yeah.
they're probably going to be selling these like hotcakes. Honestly, that's probably the one you
Oh.
should do. Biker Forever, It's got an eagle on it, and it's selling for 169. There's 6 people watching it. Now imagine in the
Wow.
coming weeks how many more people are going to be watching for urns like that. That's selling for $169.
Oh, I got an idea for one.
Run it by
Like
us.
that clever shirt. If you can read this, the B word fell off. But imagine that on an urn.
Now that
Wow.
is legitimately one of the funniest things I have ever heard.
I had never heard it previously, and there was a 2-second period where the words entered my brain, pause, and then the image.
Or you could get 2 urns, and one of them says, I'm stupid. And then the other one says, I'm stupid. It's just we're having fun here.
You know, I feel like you should write all these down. You should use these. You have so many urns, you can do many of these. You don't have to decide on just
I
one.
could do a bunch of test runs.
My dad went to the Sturgis motorcycle rally, and all I got was this lousy urn with his ashes inside of it. It's just, I mean, it writes itself.
Yeah.
Or I live in Venezuela, but someone who attended the Sturgis motorcycle rally infected someone in their hometown who then went on a plane for business to my hometown. And then I got very ill. And it's all very sad that I have to put this on an urn. But this is more just an infotainment declaration of how this came to be. Period. You know, there's lots of things you
around.
can.
Yeah.
You can have a spiral design. Sorry, I just saw in the chat here. I'm looking here. It looks like people are very excited about this idea. Apple.
I am so glad I came on here.
I'm so glad you did too.
I got one last question.
Yes.
Ask away. We got time for one more question.
All right. What state should I sell this in to avoid taxes?
Oh my gosh, I feel like Florida is a no-tax state, I believe.
Okay.
Right. I mean, Texas, certain holidays, they have no tax weekend, so you can keep an eye out for that.
If you sell on Bandcamp, occasionally they've been waiving their artist fees so that the artists get more of the money. So you could sell this urn on Bandcamp if you're trying to avoid taxes and fees.
I will say the 5 states without income tax, Montana, which you may not be able to dive into that market, or you may be able to get real deep in there. I'm not sure. And then also Alaska, Delaware, New Hampshire, and Oregon.
Oh.
They all have no sales tax.
I feel like there's a lot of cremation going on in Oregon recently.
Perhaps, and it's probably bodies that we didn't even know were dead. You know what? You can put that on an urn. I didn't know that I'd broken the law, and then somebody at the Department of Homeland Security decided I did, and that's why I'm in this urn. It's a little meta, but topical.
If you're gonna, if there's any venue or medium where going meta is encouraged, it's urn slogans. But thank you so much, Apple Fox. I do know that you probably have a lot on your mind with all of the legal troubles you have with all these various agencies. But please reserve some peace of mind in knowing that you have a lucrative business here to kind of alleviate some of the pressures that may be on you. And we do thank you for coming here and brainstorming with us. It was fun to think of very serious, dark, topical things and such.
Thank you so much. And you know what? I may give you a tax deductible gift when I get the opportunity to.
That would be a honor on both of our parts.
Yes, we do accept tips, and they are tax deductible. Just make sure you specify Michael DeWitt and Tom Parrott as the instructors. For the recipients of this gracious donation that you are pledging here, live on camera. But for now, I do wish you that peace of mind, and I will send you off with one more slogan that could potentially be on an urn, which is, I donated to NPR, and they gave me a who is that? Who is that country music musician that a lot? Sturgill sent. I donated it to NPR, and they gave me a Sturgill Simpson vinyl, a tote bag, 2 tickets to David Lockington's Pops on the Rocks at the LA County Arboretum, and this urn. Period.
Is that a KCRW or a KPCC donation?
Well, if you are in the Los Angeles area, it would be through KPCC. I think KCRW might cover some of the other outlets, but yes, KPCC.
I mean, KCRW's Los Angeles, Southern California Public Radio. That's the only one I've. We're getting into some semantics. We're going over time. Apple Fox, it's been a pleasure.
Been a pleasure. Bye.
Yeah, we actually do have to wrap up because there's a sketch group called Night Church that takes over this channel at 10:30.
That's true.
And I don't think anyone that's been a guest on this program may know of Night Church, but if one of them does, that'd be pretty cool.
That would be pretty dang cool.
Yeah.
Now, I will say this: I'm still wondering whenever we're going to get to do that show that we were talking about the the song Temper Trap,
Sweet Disposition.
Sweet Disposition.
Well, I do want to do that. You know, this is one of those ideas that the momentum has to come from us to get it started, and so it falls on me. But I do want to do that charity show where we do play the song "Sweet Disposition" by Temper Trap over various movie trailers to try and create this magical from the ether synchronization. I will try to do that. So thank you so much for bringing that up, Tom, because
right.
I would like to do that.
That's probably the last thing we can do on the stream today. We got to get out of here. I'm looking into signing up to be a poll worker thanks to this More Than a Vote website. So thank you for that.
Did you want to do one?
Do a thing?
Because Orchid Fern in the chat says, I love that song. And I'm not sure everyone watching now knows what that was.
I mean, I'm not gonna have the internet connection. I'm still taking internet connection from the Mexican restaurant next door.
We have 8 minutes before this starts. Let's just do one. So someone in the chat, give me a movie trailer, and Tom, you figure out what you select from what they choose.
Okay, hold on. I gotta get. Oh, I'm not even in the chat anymore. You gotta give me a sec. The problem with not being on the good internet is that I have to keep as many extraneous windows closed as possible. Gremlins 2. I mean, that's the first one I saw, and that seems like a hell of a selection. So I think Gremlins 2 it is.
All right. So are you looking at the live stream? Can you see the video?
Yes.
You can see my screen, right? You can see me at youtube.com.
Yes.
All right, let's do Gremlins 2. Oops. There's a little bit of a lag here. Gremlins. So this is a game that I was telling people that my wife and I do. Breaking character. My wife and I do. Where I will play a random movie trailer. And then we will play this Temper Trap song over it. And it always works. And it is always good. All right, so here's Gremlins 2's trailer. Let me pause it. All right. Okay. Tom, I do not see the chat, so I'm hoping there's some people sticking with us here for this part.
We have more people in here now than we did previously, actually. It's
Okay.
pretty remarkable. I think the summoning was made and people decided to come in and watch.
Okay. So now we're going to show you, this is our backdoor pilot for a show we want to do to raise some money called Sweet Disposition. And
Well, it's a backdoor pilot. It's part 2, so this is really like we're starting to make it's a show within a show at this point.
all right, here we go, Tom.
I'm ready.
Oh shoot, that was the wrong Temper Trap song.
That also sounds like the wrong Temper Trap song. Wizworld Live says you got to bring the song up a touch.
So last time we did it, we were both on screen because we did screen share, but we don't have time to do that. But
Well, I think it's an internet connection thing, but
yeah. And there you go. That was a very short trailer, and that was just a little taste of what it is we do when our show devolves into a 1027 sweet disposition backdoor pilot. We will be doing this, okay? So just keep an eye on our social medias. If you know any of us, our real names, keep an eye on our social medias. But it is 1027, and I do want to respect the members of Night Church, especially because we may have had one of their members join us this evening. Otherwise, we would not have respected them at all. Is that the insinuation of?
I guess that's the insinuation But I'll say that that's Michael DeWitt making that insinuation, and not the man behind Michael DeWitt.
Correct. Fictional characters can be used as scapegoats and shields from criticism.
Listen, I tell people that my cat caused trouble all the time. I don't even own a cat.
That is nefarious, my boy Tom. But I like your game. Ball is game. Everyone be good. Everyone be great.
Game is life. Ball is game. Shrek is love.
Wizworld Live says they don't know if they have a show tonight, because I am reminded now that Wizworld Live is a member of Night Church, which is kind of cool. We have that connection there. But yes, everyone be safe. Take care of yourself. Do listen to evacuation warnings if you are in a zone where people are evacuating. There's some winds tonight that I know are complicating things. So
I have heard that. Be careful, everybody.
Be safe. Thank you for tuning in as the world is burning. We do appreciate it, and we hope you laughed or enjoyed yourself. Infotainment, edutainment. Be well, everyone. Take care.